Welcome to Not Boring English. Today's story is a Nostradamus story called The Last Quatrain, and it is for learners at the B1-B2 level. If the speech or text feels fast, remember, you can slow down the video with playback speed settings. The Last Quatrain. The night the letter arrived, rain tapped on the small window of the apothecary like a slow, patient hand. Inside, the lamps burned low. Michel, the old man who made strange books and strange medicines, read the paper without surprise. Around him stood a young woman named Claire. She had come from the town to ask for help. The letter was from the mayor. It spoke of a child who had gone missing and of a strange dream that the mayor could not explain. Claire had been an apprentice to Michel for 3 years. She mixed herbs, washed jars, and listened to the stories he told about stars and seasons. Michel was kind but serious. People in the town called him Nostradamus, a man who wrote quatrains, short, simple poems that seemed to predict events. Some people feared him, and some came for hope. Claire did not know if she believed in predictions. She wanted to help people, and she wanted to learn medicine and truth. The mayor's letter asked Michel to find the missing child. The mayor wrote that the child had been seen walking toward the old mill by the river at dusk. When the child did not return, people felt a chill in their hearts. They remembered a quatrain Michel had written months before. In it, he had spoken of a small light lost near water, and of a choice that will change many lives. People said the quatrain might be about the missing child. Michel folded the paper slowly. He spoke in a low voice. "Quatrains are shadows and doors," he said. "They point, but they do not push. We still must walk." Claire listened. She wanted to walk. The mayor had offered pay and praise, but that was not why Claire went. She went because a child was missing and because the town needed calm. They left before dawn. The air smelled like wet earth and burning wood. The mill stood at the edge of the river, old and leaning, its wheel like a tired eye. The miller remembered the child. He had seen a small figure with a red scarf walking by. Then the river mist had come, and the child had vanished. On the mill door, someone had written a crude mark with a stick, a circle that was half dark, half light. The mark made Claire think of the quatrain, a small light lost near water. She felt a cold pull in her chest, but she kept her voice calm. They questioned people near the river. A fisherman saw a boat tied to the bank with one oar missing. A woman said she had found a scrap of cloth snagged on a branch. Claire picked up the scrap and smelled it. It smelled of lavender and smoke. At noon, the town bell rang, and the list of names who had seen the child grew longer and longer. Some said the child had been stolen by a stranger. Others said the child had been taken by the river. Fear spread like spilled oil. Late in the afternoon, Michel stopped at the old chapel. It was a place people forgot until they needed a miracle. The chapel windows were small, and light moved inside like slow fish. Michel sat, closed his eyes, and touched the quatrain in his pocket. Claire sat too. "Do you see anything?" she asked. Michel opened his eyes. They were bright and tired. "I see a path," he said. "Not on the ground. A path of small choices. One choice to ask for help, one to hide, one to follow. The quatrain shows a direction, not a prison." Claire thought of the mayor's letter and of the town's fear. She thought of the child and the circle mark. She made a choice. She would not wait for more signs. She would follow the river upstream, where the water moved fast and the forest grew thick. Michel nodded. Then he rose and followed. They walked until the light grew thin. At a bend in the river, they found footprints. The prints were small and shallow, as if the person had walked fast. They followed them into a thicket. The branches scratched their faces and their clothes. Behind a fallen tree, they heard a sound, a small voice singing. Claire held her breath and stepped forward. There, in a hollow near the roots, sat the child. The child was cold and muddy, but alive. A thin man crouched nearby. His face was hidden under a hat, and his hands shook. The man did not run. He spoke in a quick voice. He said he had found the child crying by the road. He said he had tried to comfort the child and had taken the child to his own small shelter because he could not leave the child alone. He blamed bad company and poor work. The man's eyes were wet. He looked more tired than cruel. Claire felt relief and something else. Anger at the town for quick judgment, at herself for fear. The circle mark on the mill door came to mind. It was not a sign of evil, but a child's drawing, maybe of the moon. They returned to town with the child. People cried and rejoiced. The mayor thanked Michel and Claire and promised to watch the child more carefully. The townspeople wanted to know what the quatrain had meant. They asked Michel if the quatrain had saved the child. Michel looked at the crowd. He spoke slowly so everyone could hear. The quatrain pointed toward water and a small light, he said. But the path to the child was not only prediction, it was kindness, asking questions, and not giving in to fear. The words may point, but our hands must move. That night, alone in his small room, Michel wrote another quatrain. This one was short. When fear grows tall, light small will guide the hand. He folded the paper and gave it to Claire. Keep it, he said, and remember, a prediction is not a command. It is a warning and a chance. Claire read the quatrain and felt warmth. She thought about the man by the river, about quick judgments in the market, and the comfort of a small, steady light. She understood that people wanted simple answers. They wanted to know the future so they could stop worrying, but the future comes from small actions, not from only words. She had chosen to walk to the river. She had spoken to people and had not let fear flow like water under a bridge without asking where it would take them. Months later, the town felt calmer. People spoke of the child and of mercy. They learned to ask questions before they blamed. Michael's quatrain sat in his book of quatrains, and he added a note: truth grows with care. Claire opened the apothecary in the next year and used the folded quatrain as a bookmark. When a person came to her scared and unsure, she would pull the paper out and say, "A small light can help. Let us look." The moral was simple. Predictions may point to danger, but people must act with care and kindness. A quatrain may warn, but it does not replace the small choices that build a safer future. Claire had learned that prophecy and courage must walk together. The town learned that fear without action can hurt more than help. And Michel, the man called Nostradamus, continued to write his quatrains, but he also planted a small garden by the apothecary door. It was a garden for people who walked in the rain and needed a light. Comprehension. Questions. I will now ask a few questions about the story to check your understanding. 1. Who helped Claire find the missing child, and what did people call him? 2. What two things did Michel say are needed besides a quatrain to help people? 3. Where did Claire and Michel find the child, and why had the man taken the child? Thank you for listening to this not boring English story. Please write your answers in the comments and tell us what you would do in Claire's place. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories.